A long time ago, in a land called Israel, a great battle was about to begin. On one side stood the Israelites, God's people. On the other side were the Philistines, strong and fierce warriors, but among the Philistines was someone unlike any other, a giant named Goliath. He was taller than anyone had ever seen, covered in shiny armor, and carried a huge sword and spear. Every day, Goliath stomped onto the battlefield and shouted, "Is there anyone brave enough to fight me? If you defeat me, we will be your servants. But if I win, you will serve us." The Israelites were terrified. No one wanted to fight the giant, not even the strongest soldiers or King Saul himself. They felt small and powerless against Goliath, but far away, in a quiet field, a young shepherd boy named David was taking care of his father's sheep. He wasn't a soldier, he was just a boy who loved God and played music on his harp. One day, David's father asked him to take food to his brothers, who were soldiers in the Israelite army. When David arrived at the battlefield, he saw Goliath shouting his challenge. He noticed how afraid the Israelites were, and he asked, "Why is everyone so scared? We have God on our side." David knew that Goliath was big, but God was even bigger. David went to King Saul and said, "I will fight Goliath." The king was shocked. "You are just a boy. Goliath has been a warrior for years." But David smiled and said, "When I take care of my father's sheep, sometimes a lion or a bear comes to attack. But God helps me fight them off. God will help me defeat Goliath too." King Saul saw David's courage and agreed to let him fight. He gave David his armor, but it was too big and heavy. David shook his head. "I don't need this. God will protect me." Instead, David picked up his shepherd's sling and went to a small stream. He chose 5 smooth stones and put them in his pouch. Then, with only his sling and his faith in God, he walked onto the battlefield. When Goliath saw David, he laughed. "You sent a little boy to fight me? This will be easy." But David stood tall and said, "You come with a sword and spear, but I come with the power of God. Today, he will help me defeat you." Goliath roared and stomped forward. But David was ready. He pulled out a stone, placed it in his sling, and swung it around and around. Whoosh! The stone flew through the air and hit Goliath right in the forehead. The mighty giant wobbled. And then, boom! He fell to the ground with a loud thud. The Israelites cheered. Goliath was defeated. The Philistines saw their great warrior fall and ran away in fear. David had won, not with a sword or armor, but with faith in God. That day, everyone learned that with God, even the smallest person can do big things, and so, the young shepherd became a hero, proving that true strength comes from trusting in God.